What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today is August 15th, 2021. Last night, there was an improbable feat in Major League Baseball when Diamondbacks pitcher Tyler Gilbert threw Major League Baseball's 8th no-hitter of the season in his first ever career start. We're going to look at how this is part of an ongoing riddle in Major League Baseball, which is connected to the death of Tyler Skaggs, a pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels, who reportedly died of a drug overdose back in 2019. To this day, Skaggs is still the last active MLB player to die while on a major league roster. Earlier this year, I made a video on the no-hitter thrown by John Means of the Baltimore Orioles. You'll find a link to that video in the description below. You'll also find links to my videos that I made on Tyler Skaggs back in 2019. And let's explain how all of these men are intricately connected. So we start with Tyler Skaggs, and the important thing to notice about Skaggs is his birth date of July 13th, 1991. On that very same day, the Baltimore Orioles threw a combined no-hitter where 4 pitchers took the mound that day and wound up blanking the Oakland Athletics, who scored no runs on no hits. Now, astonishingly, this was the last time that there was a combined no-hitter thrown in the state of California until the first home game the Angels played after Skaggs died. And this was a numerical oddity so bizarre, even the mainstream media had to post their own news story, doing their own decode. So on the date of that game, all of the Angels players wore number 45, which was Skaggs' number, and they took the field and then played, again, the first combined no-hitter in the state of California since the day Skaggs was born. So all of that is pretty incredible. But remember, that no-hitter was thrown by the Baltimore Orioles. And earlier this year, we had another no-hitter thrown by the Baltimore Orioles. And it was the first Orioles no-hitter since July 13th, 1991, when Skaggs was born. So that all had to do with a pitcher named Tyler. And notice how Tyler Skaggs only played for 2 teams. The Angels, whose roster he was on when he died, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, then last night, we get the first ever no-hitter thrown by a pitcher named Tyler in Major League history. And he pitches for the Arizona Diamondbacks, which again was Skaggs' other team. So last night, the Diamondbacks won their 38th game in their 118th game of the season. And these are numbers connected to death. Notice how death equals 38 and 118, explaining what this ritual was all about. Now notice how in the language of Gematria, the name Tyler Gilbert has matching 63 Gematria with Tyler Skaggs, whose name was 63 in multiple reduction methods. We're told that Skaggs died from a drug overdose, and notice how drug overdose has the same 153 and 171 Gematria as Tyler Gilbert. But again, his name sums to 63, which is drug overdose in both reduction methods. Gilbert's no-hitter came against the Padres. Notice how Padres sums to 63 in the standard alphabetical order. And last night's game was played on a date with primary numerology of 63. In reverse reduction, Major League equals 63. Major League Baseball, 63 in the standard reduction method. Tyler Skaggs' date of birth, July 13th, leaves 171 days in the year, which again connects to the Gematria of Tyler Gilbert, 171, and drug overdose. So Tyler played for the Los Angeles Angels, who play their home games in a suburb of Los Angeles, California, which equals 197 in the standard alphabetic order. Now, 197 is a prime number. Tyler Skaggs died in the city of Southlake, Texas, which also sums to 197. Remember, Skaggs wore number 45 for the Angels, and 197 is the 45th prime number. On the date of last night's game, Tyler Gilbert was exactly 10,097 days old, connecting to Tyler Skaggs' number. Also interesting that Gilbert wears number 49, which has a Gematria value of 45, like Tyler Skaggs and the number he wore. Now, there's another part of this riddle that we need to talk about, and this is the fact that Tyler Gilbert was the first pitcher in the major leagues to throw a no-hitter in his first major league start since Bobo Holloman did it in the year 1953. And I was a little bit taken aback when I punched in Bobo Holloman's full name. Notice how it has Gematria of 148. And last night, Gilbert threw his no-hitter on the 14th of August, the date written 14/8. Yesterday is also the 226th day of the year, lining up with Bobo Holloman's full name with capital letters, 226. You'll see that Holloman was born on March 7th, which can be written either 3/7 or 7/3. And in Gematria, the name Gilbert equals both 73 and 37. Furthermore, Bobo Holloman is numerically connected to Tyler Skaggs for this ritual. And I just realized, look at his career record of 3-7 to go along with his birthday, 3-7. But notice how Holloman died at the age of just 64 years old. Well, that sticks out because currently he would be 98 years old. So he died at 64. Now he would be 98. This is the Gematria of Skaggs, 64 and 98. If you punch in Tyler Wayne Skaggs, his full name, you get this value of 212, which is a number I frequently talk about being connected to ritual sacrifice, which sums to 212 in multiple Kabbalah methods. And if you measure from Bobo Holloman's no-hitter in his first ever Major League game to Tyler Gilbert's date of birth, you get exactly 2,120 weeks. So yet another connection to Tyler Skaggs through this entire thing. Now, we'll dive into this more shortly. Again, they played the Padres last night, and the Padres' nickname is the Friars, which is another word for priests, so we'll talk about how this is connected to the Jesuit order as well. But before getting there, I want to talk about the astrological element of this whole riddle. Before we do, I just want to point out both pitchers' ages on the dates of these significant no-hitters. So back when the Angels threw a combined no-hitter, and actually before I do this, let me look at one more thing with these no-hitters, right? So the big part of this riddle, again, is combined no-hitters. Tyler Skaggs, born on the day of one in 91. And it just so happens that the most recent no-hitter prior to the one thrown last night was another combined no-hitter, right? In addition to the fact that the Orioles just threw their first no-hitter since 1991. Okay, but moving on. So again, Gilbert plays for the Arizona Diamondbacks, which was Skaggs' other team. Notice how Arizona Diamondbacks sums to 333 in the reverse order. On the date of the Angels' combined no-hitter, Tyler Gilbert was 9,333 days old. And last night's no-hitter fell a span of 30 years and 33 days after Tyler Skaggs' birthday. Tyler Skaggs was born just 2 days after the first total middle eclipse in about 123 years. And a total middle eclipse is the middle eclipse of any Saros series. So you can get total and annular middle eclipses. But this was a very significant one, and Skaggs was born just 2 days later. Notice his birth date, July 13th, which can be written 13/7 or 7/13. These 3-digit numbers are found in the Gematria of the phrase total eclipse. In reduction, total eclipse equals 47, and Skaggs died on a date with primary numerology of 47. Orioles pitcher John Means, by the way, wore number 47 and still wears it. He's the one who threw a no-hitter for the Orioles this year. And again, Skaggs was born on the same day as the Orioles' combined no-hitter against the A's. Sorry if I'm repeating myself a lot during this video. There's a lot of elements I'm trying to bring together, just trying to make the most sense of this. Now, this Orioles no-hitter to occur on the day Skaggs was born was the 227th no-hitter in the history of Major League Baseball. That stands out because 227 is the ancient Hebrew value of total eclipse. This is also the sum of United States of America in Hebrew ordinal. And the number 227, very significant in Gematria. If you write out 22 divided by 7, notice how you get the first 3 digits of pi, 314. And if you actually divide 22 by 7 on a calculator, it's the smallest equation you can get or use to get 314. And in Satanic Gematria, the word eclipse equals 314. The next no-hitter that'll be thrown in Major League Baseball will be the 314th, by the way. So the total middle eclipse that occurred in 1991 had numerology of both 109 and 19. Tyler Gilbert has reduced birth numerology of 19. Notice how the name Skaggs equals 19. This is the number of years in the moon's metonic cycle. In the tarot's major arcana, the sun is the 19th card. Tyler Skaggs wound up dying in the year 19 on the eve of that year's total solar eclipse, July 2nd of that year. 19 is the 8th prime number, and last night's no-hitter thrown by Tyler Gilbert was the 8th no-hitter of the season, which breaks an MLB record. So the most no-hitters in a year was 7 prior to this season. Additionally, Tyler Skaggs had primary birth numerology of 130. And when the Angels threw a combined no-hitter in his honor, just 11 days after he died, they scored 13 runs on 13 hits. And consider how both human sacrifice and total eclipse equals 130. If you measure from Tyler Skaggs' death back to the most recent total solar eclipse, which was the Great American Total Solar Eclipse in 2017, notice how his death fell a span of exactly 680 days later. In reduction, the name Tyler Wayne Skaggs equals 68. Earlier this year, when John Means threw a no-hitter for the Orioles, it was a span of exactly 68 years after Bobo Holloman threw a no-hitter in his first Major League start. Again, Gilbert, last night, throwing a no-hitter in his first Major League start, the first one to do so since Bobo. Last night's game fell a span of exactly 10,991 days after Tyler Skaggs was born in the year 1991. On top of that, Last night's no-hitter was 109 weeks and 1 day after the Angels combined no-no. And this number represents 191. Think about how Society of Jesus equals 191. The Jesuit order's emblem, where the rays of the sun can be seen, perhaps the corona, only visible during a total solar eclipse, which is 191. And check out how Diamondbacks also has this 191 Gematria. Tyler Skaggs, by the way, was 27 years old when he passed away. Tyler Gilbert is currently 27 years old. He was also born in the year 1993. Orioles pitcher John Means was born in the year 93. He pitches for the Orioles, which equals 93. And John Means was born exactly 93 weeks after Tyler Skaggs. Another thing I wanted to mention is how the 2019 combined no-no from the Angels, the starting pitcher in that game was named Taylor Cole. So, Tyler Skaggs, Tyler Gilbert, Taylor Cole. So many connections. And I'm just now realizing that this was also the 301st no-hitter in Major League history, where they scored 13 runs. Tyler Skaggs' birthday had numerology of 13, like 130 and 31. I commonly discuss how 1331 is like the ultimate eclipse number. When the Angels threw this no-hitter, notice how they brought their record to 46 and 46 after this game. And 46 is an important number to this as well. First of all, the word sacrifice equals 46. LA Angels equals 46. And this game was a no-hitter, which equals 46. Now, the 46th prime number is 199. And measuring from Tyler Skaggs' date of birth to last night's no-hitter, 10,990 days. Okay, so before I wrap this up, I just want to point out the Jesuit element of this order. Now, just last month, I made a post on the San Diego Padres, who were playing against the Washington Nationals when there was a shooting outside the stadium. And this was a big Jesuit ritual. I did a post, I made a video on this, talking about all this numerology. And the San Diego Padres are almost always connected to Jesuit rituals based on their nickname, the Padres, who are also called the Friars or priests. And I think it was... there was another game. Oh, yeah, when we had the Daniel Camarena Grand Slam, where the relief pitcher hit the Grand Slam off Max Scherzer. There was more to that, but notice how San Diego Padres equals 506. And this brings us back to Bobo Holloman, the last man to throw a pitcher, or to throw a no-hitter in his Major League debut. The name Bobo Holloman sums to 56, and he accomplished his feat on the date May 6th, written 5/6. Holloman would then later die a span of 56 days after his birthday. Tyler Skaggs died 56 days after the date 5/6. The other Tyler, Tyler Gilbert, has birth numerology of 56. This connects us to Society of Jesus, which sums to 56 in reduction. The Society of Jesus equals 235, Tyler Gilbert was born 235 days after the anniversary of Bobo Holloman's death. And his no-hitter was thrown 235 days after his own birthday. Meanwhile, Tyler Skaggs died 191 days after Tyler Gilbert's birthday. We talked about this number earlier. Society of Jesus 191. Skaggs even died on July 1st, which matches both LA Angels and the Society of Jesus 71, like the date. The other team he played for, the Arizona Diamondbacks, Tyler Gilbert's team. Arizona matches Jesuit, so does Diamondbacks. Last night's game fell 44 days before the Jesuit anniversary. No hitter equals 44 in reverse. So does the name Gilbert. 44 as well. All right, so I know that was a lot to digest, but there's a lot to pack in this stuff. And, you know, it's these ongoing riddles that are the most intriguing to me. Again, things I've been picking up on the entire year, continuing to culminate into the next ritual. So, interesting stuff. Thanks to everybody for popping in. Peace, love, God bless. And we'll talk to you next time. See ya.